The big topic is Furiosa a girl boss? Because everyone wants to dismiss this movie by saying Anya Taylor-Joy, girl boss. And I'll just say, from the way I see the movie, he gets her ass kicked for nearly half the movie and fails most of the time. She's constantly failing. And at one point, I don't want to give too much away, she has a mentor, a man who teaches her how to survive in the wasteland. So this is, I don't think, some will disagree with me, and I think it's because people are hypersensitive. This isn't a girl boss movie.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts on what I just said?
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think she's any more of a girl boss than Sarah Connor is. I think she lived in this world. She adapted to this world, and she became what that world is, right? And like you said, she did have a mentor who was a man, who was a straight man, and from what we can tell,
we don't
anyway.
know.
Yeah, I mean, from what we can tell, but either way, she had a white male mentor who taught her, how to survive. And I don't think it's a girl boss situation at all. I think it's a tough girl, but not a boss, not a boss girl.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna see other people say this is girl boss. I don't. Parts of the movie reminded me of Raiders of the Lost Ark. You know how like Indiana Jones in that movie fails the entire movie, and pretty much Furiosa fails a lot. I mean, we're not going to talk about it, but how she loses her arm, and it's fucking, it's
pretty graphic.
It's shocking.
Yeah.
And but it's like people are too hypersensitive. Like, okay, Captain Marvel in the Marvel girl boss, annoyingly so. Like, or Madam Web, girl boss nonsense, almost like a parody of it. This is not that, and she just is. But the thing is this: why she is so like you are like cheering for her, because he doesn't let things stop her. Like all the failures she's dealt, she just gets up and keeps going. So
yeah, I mean, she barely survives. She barely survives in the first half, and then there's a revenge play that I don't think is much of a spoiler either. I think the reason why the girl boss term comes up is the fact that it's for every film that's been coming out lately. It's the pendulum. For a long time, pendulum was mostly men, almost always men, and now it swings back, and so everything we get now has a female lead, and I think that's the issue most people have with it, is just another one. It's just another one. I will say that I agree for the most part that she is not a girl boss. Girl boss implies that she has magical powers and understands how to get out of situations, for some reason that she's some magical person who can get out of situations. That doesn't happen here. She does things that women can do. For a woman who's built like Anya Taylor-Joy, she does things that, if she worked out a lot, she would be able to do these things. But for the most part, she doesn't do, she's not the male, the male superhero in it. I will say though, the fact that she's able to build an arm with one hand and then put it on herself and then use it flawlessly like it's a normal hand, that's pretty girl boss to me.
That was maybe the only thing, but you just buy it. That's near the end of the film anyways.
There are things that arm does that it's not like, it's heavy and she can hit people with it, and she does that. But there are things like flicking hair out of her eyes with that arm. I'm going, wow, that's a pretty precise, robotic arm there. Okay. Yeah, there's going to be small things that kind of take you out of it, but not a big deal. But I noticed it. It's like mechanical arms don't do that, especially the one she built.
Well, but here's the thing. You see many phases where she learns, right?
And she grows.
And she grows. That you never see that with the girl boss characters. They don't learn. They're not mentored. They don't ever fail. She does all of those things. She's mentored. You see her learning, or she's gaining skill in mechanics or in fighting. And she's not a heavy, right? She's not but she uses what skills she has. And this mentor, although there's a new trope in movies I want to point out. Dante and I were talking about it. Like, when you see a male and female character, there's romantic interests with this mentor. And normally in a normal movie, two characters, a man and a woman, would kiss. In this movie, and I've seen it in other movies, it's the foreheads touching to show affection, like forehead touching. And so they touch foreheads, and that's like, a symbol of affection, or, and that happens. I was like, this would have been a great part for just a traditional old school movie kiss. And that was the one that really did annoy me. Like, it's a perfect moment for a kiss, and they forehead touch.
Yeah, and I'm like,
you guys think of that?
I'm like, do you need like an intimacy coordinator just for kissing now? Like, I don't understand this, man.
Well, yeah.
Like,
you do. Yeah.
That was like you said, it was a good moment for them to actually inject, a little bit of romance in the film. And it's weird that these studios now are shying away from this, right? Any opportunity they can to not do it, they're not doing it. And unless it's gay, I mean, let's be honest here, right? Like, if those were two guys, they would have had them kiss probably. And it's like, it's just, I feel like it's a growing problem in Hollywood. I feel like it's not getting better. And I feel like the only times we're going to see this now, or any kind of romance or any kind of affection between a man and a woman, is if the film is specifically like, a Basic Instinct kind of situation, which even then, good luck finding those now, right? Unless, you're up at late at night and you're watching Cinemax.
But it's implied that she has an affection for this man.
Sure, it's implied.
They don't kiss, they forehead touch. Like, come on, folks.
Yeah.
Alan,
yeah, I mean, they might as well did the Eskimo thing and just rub noses together. I mean, it was like, it was just such a dumb moment, right? Because that should have been the moment where, we see them do what humans who are in a apocalypse, right, in a wasteland would do.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They wouldn't bump heads. They probably would have sex right then and there.
Oh my God, the chat.
I mean, this is the trend.
Alan, what do you think?
Yeah, this is the trend. We go to movies to escape the world that we live in, to transport us to a different world, or to put ourselves in the shoes of other people. And the greatest movies make us feel heroic, make us feel respect for our country, make us feel. Another emotion that is missing is love. Films make us feel love. Love is a very powerful emotion, and that's why we go to movies. And love, along with all the other ones, the thrills, the tragedy, for some reason we're taking love out of movies. And this one, I don't. This idea that there is affection between the two, it felt more platonic affection. Also, it's it's said early on, so I think I'm okay with saying it, but there's a concerted effort to keep her virginal throughout the first half of the movie.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, wow, this is a very evolved dystopian future. A very progressive dystopian future.
Yeah.
And I hate this trend. It's a trend. It happens all the time, and I hate it. Let people fall in love again.
But that was the only thing that other than the runtime, the first 40 minutes, the ending, we're not going to talk about. I think the good outweighed the bad. That was the only moment I went, would have been a good moment for a kiss. Why did you do that? You know? How about the effects and the action? I know, look, there's a lot of digital enhancement, but I think it's better in this than Fury Road. It was just so good. There's so much great, like the War Boys, and now that we know all the players, they just went for it. There's so much more death in this than Fury Road.
Yeah, actually.
I would say
I appreciate that they went for it, man. I think, yeah, the effects. Look, the effects are the effects, and by now we just have to realize that most practical effects are not going to be done in a film because they're way more expensive and time consuming, and studios now would just rather do something lazy, right? So once I've accepted that, I'm able to kind of look at it like, well, the effects were still pretty good. And what made up for that though was the action, and the stunt work. The stunt work was amazing in this movie. And yeah, we see, oh my God, just these crazy stunts being done, like when the guys are in the parachutes, when they take off from the motorcycle.
Oh, that was so cool.
It was so cool. I was like, this is wild stuff, man. So I was impressed. I was highly impressed with the visuals, but especially the stunt work in this movie.
Yeah. I like practical stunts. Maybe that's why I like Fall Guy so much, because the majority, I think all of it was actually practical. In this one, I'll agree that there's, they did a good job of blending the CG and the practical, but it still looked like an animated feature, an adult animated feature. Dune, on the other hand, looked absolutely real. You could have swore that what is a thornicopter, that thing really exists, and that the action that was going on was really happening. It looked authentic. This one still looks like a cartoon, and it looked that way with Fury Road. And then when you compare it to the original Mad Max and Thunderdome, it was it was shot on film, the early films. It was gritty, it was dirty, it was dusty. This one's too clean. It's absolutely too clean. And that's the thing that pulls me out of this. Now, I will grant you that when you watch the movie and see the action scenes, to not have done it in CG probably would have cost dozens of lives. Because I mean, the things that people go through, like, let's just say you're standing on top of a tanker, a bomb goes off, and then you fly off of the tanker into the desert. That's I get it. I get it why they did it. The other thing is, in terms of world building within the action sequences, I'll give the nod to Dune again, because this one, it takes place in the desert. I know Dune does, but at least the backgrounds in Dune kind of made things more interesting. And this one, they're just on the desert. And so I, in terms of effects, I'm giving it to Dune. This one is fine. Ultimately, again, there for the action. And this is animated cartoon action. So there you go.
Well, the other thing I loved about the movie, I don't know if we should do a number score. I think we all recommend it.
Yeah,
I recommend.
Oh, yeah,
it.
for sure.
Yeah,
with qualifications.
Number score, we'll wait, till next week after we see it again. But the car porn is better in this than, they build cars. You see the War Boys building an engine, and they're like working on this big engine with found and scavenged parts, like the motorcycles, the cars, the trucks. They had construction vehicles that were involved, and
the monster truck. A monster truck.
The monster truck is so good. So the car porn stuff I love, because I used to work on cars. I had a 1965 Ford Fairlane that I did a lot of work on. I used to have a 1972 Triumph Daytona that I rebuilt. I stripped it to the frame, put it back together. Now, to be fair, Triumphs are pretty simple vehicles, so not much to it. But It was fun. Like the car porn, I loved it. It wasn't just the construction vehicles. That one sequence, like they are used in an action sequence, was just, it's like young boys who like to play with cars and trucks. This is like just so awesome. So
there's a reveal of a certain character in the movie that is preceded by a car discussion.
yes,
Yeah.
just God. So any
Although I
thoughts
don't know,
on
man. Like for me, I'm a little mixed because the vehicles in Fury Road were pretty incredible. So I don't know if I'm gonna say that these were better because they were both crazy, man. I mean, come on, man. In Fury Road, you had a guy hanging playing a guitar with fire. I mean,
right?
like like it doesn't get more batshit than that. So, but no, the car porn, the gear porn in this is top notch.
Yeah. Alan, any thoughts?
Oh, I think I said what I said about it.
No. Well, there you are.
Yeah.
Okay. All the way around, we all recommend it. We all enjoyed it with issues. And we all seem to have the same issues. But I honestly, I can't wait to see it again. I can't, like certain action sequence, I can't wait. I can't wait. So, but final thoughts from you guys.
Yeah, I'll say, hey, grab a date, go watch this movie, man. It's going to be fun. No matter who you're with, they're going to enjoy it. It's a ride. It's a great uh time at the theater. I mean, as far as you won't waste your time. But also, look, there's something for everybody, right? There's action for the ladies. There's Chris Helmsworth. Enough said, I guess. And it's just a good movie. It's a good movie. You know what? It's not the best movie, but you will enjoy it. You will enjoy it. I enjoyed it. I'm definitely going to see it again next week. So
cool.
And I'm taking a date, probably.
Well, there you go. Nice, Alan.
Yeah, comments are coming up. I'm gonna say exactly what Gary said on the Nooner. I like this movie. I don't know that I'm gonna see it again. If I do see it again, is because I'm taking my daughter to see it. That would probably be the only reason I'll go back. It's just too long. It's too long. It's one of those where you just got to strap in. Unlike you, I don't like going to the bathroom in the middle of a movie. I
can't help it.
I know you can't help it. I'll give it a 7 out of 10 though. It's a good story. It's just too damn long.
Well, says the guy who is taking his daughter to the extended versions of all the Lord of the Rings movies.
Yeah, have you seen the Lord of the Rings movies?
Yes, I've seen them.
Are you even comparing this movie to
one
it's
not
of
a
the Lord of the
comparison?
Rings
Not a comparison. Not a comparison.
Yeah,
I'm just saying you're complaining about running time.
I will sit through a great movie for 4 hours, and Lord of the Rings is it. Yeah, I'm doing it.
Okay,
all three. We're doing all three.
All three back to back. You are insane.
3 days in a row.
I wish they were a week apart, like Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Spider-Man was one Spider-Man movie a week. Why can't you? I don't have 4 hours a day, 3 days in a row.
4.5 hours because of trailers,
Yeah,
right?
4.5. Like, my God, and all 9 endings for Return of the King. Like, I mean, I have the extended editions on Blu-ray, whatever.
You are hardcore, man. You are hardcore.
I mean, seriously, the epilogue is a movie in and of itself.
Yeah,
it kind of is.
My final thoughts. Can't wait to see it again. I'll probably dislike the flaws less the second time. I find they won't stand out.
All right. For Fletcher Williams, I suck at James Games channel. I remember when gays were fun and happy. Guys, gays.
That comment about?
I have no idea. Jay Price, very true on Doctor Who. Yes, it's gay.
Yeah, it's yeah,
It's not just gay, it's bad. It's just bad. The writing is bad.
I know. Quite frankly, it's insulting to the LGBT community.
Well, I think, God, I was talking to a friend and it was like, gay is just mainstream. It's just, I miss gay culture being cool and kind of like, oh, you have to know about this, like this drag queen bar, this cool, fun thing. It was never about like bring your kids to whatever. It was just like a fun thing. And gay culture was like this cool alternative culture. Now it's so in the mainstream, so in your face.
Chris, you just want to keep them in the closet.
Well, it was more fun that way.
Yeah. The thing is that I don't know, of all my gay friends, none of them act like that. And I get it's the doctor really and don't. Kind of elevated, but no one is that flamboyant in real life or
it's almost like when cops watch actors play cops in shows and they're like, yeah, we would never do that. Right. Like that would never happen, right? And I think that's what happens with the gay community. It's like a lot of gays are looking at this stuff like, that's not what we do. That's not how we are.
Well, it's like when Asians watch Mickey Rooney in Breakfast at Tiffany's.
Right. When I was a kid, I thought it was bad. I was a kid. That movie was like, I remember watching it and feeling like weird. Like this is not this weird because I had Asian friends and it just felt weird.
Well, it just came out of nowhere, and it was Mickey Rooney, for crying out loud.
It might be one of the most racist impressions like I've seen on screen,
and not even funny. If it was funny, I would have said, whatever. What's that?
It was funny.
I mean, it's funny now, I guess, but
I know I saw it as a full-grown adult. I didn't see it back then.
Well, I saw it as a kid. Whatever. Anyways, gosh, I want to keep going, and I love hanging out, but I think we can't say anymore without ruining the movie.